Michael Caine just said Brexit is about freedom and he would rather be a poor master than a rich servant. Okay, so putting aside Michael Caine's own tax situation and his willingness personally to be poor, let's not tackle the person, but rather the concept, because it's very, very interesting. It's also come up in Milton's Paradise Lost, the notion of better to rule in hell than to be a servant in heaven. It's all about personal empowerment rather than being a paid-off lackey. So how does this apply to Brexit? What is the personal empowerment of you as an individual on Brexit that you didn't have during the EU? There is none. And in fact, you lose three key things by us coming out of the EU. Firstly, is freedom of movement for yourself as you move around the continent. Secondly, is freedom of movement from the employer's perspective. So if you've got a small business, your ability to hire from the world's largest market, 500 million people, without Home Office interference, is a right that you have at the moment that you lose on Brexit. Thirdly, is your say in the political affairs of the continent, your ability to elect an MEP that can represent your region and your country in the biggest market that we trade into, or in the case of science, the biggest collaborative hub that we work with. So you lose all of those. Now you might say, okay, that's fine on the personal empowerment level, fine, I can't think of anything at the moment. But in terms of our country is free to make the rules that are right for UK citizens, not one size fits all in Europe, the rules just for the UK. Fine, conceptually, now we're talking. But let's have the evidence for this. What are the rules, the one-size-fits-all rules, that haven't suited the UK in the past? We're back to this question. And lead Brexiteers are very hard-pressed to find one. They've cited the Clinical Trials Directive, which of course is obsolete now, and we had a strong hand in the revision of it. The Working Time Directive, which people don't want to scrap. Environmental regulations that people don't want to scrap. It's very hard to find laws that we want to scrap as the UK, because laws approved by 28 different countries tend to be rather good. So what we're doing, actually, is we are going from rich master to poor servant. And poor servant to what? Well, essentially empty ideology. We have disempowered ourselves on a fantasy. That's where I have issue with what Michael Caine just said.